Nowadays, we finally have tons of completely offline games on the Play Store, and yeah, I know. The Play Store usually shows you the same games over and over, like mostly those GACHA ones designed to take your money, right? But the real problem is that you might be searching the wrong way. Don't worry though. I'm here to show you 15 new offline games that are totally worth trying out. So you already know what to do. You drop a like and come with me, man. Let's start with a seriously underrated game because the amount of features this one has is just unbelievable. We're talking about Spirit Crossing. This is literally the first cooperative MMORPG from Netflix for Android. The game has a relaxing vibe, focusing heavily on community, friendship, and building shared spaces. It offers open world exploration with activities like gliding, climbing, jumping on trampolines, building houses and villages with friends, plus deep customization for homes and towns, decoration, structure building, and working together with other players. It also puts a massive focus on social interaction, player meetups, dance and music events, rideable animals including the Fluffalo train, and all kinds of parties and celebrations in the game world. And you might be thinking this game can't be offline simply because it's an MMO, but that's where you're wrong. It actually works completely without internet, with worlds tailored just for you to play in it. One of the biggest things still missing on Android is a truly great Spider-Man style game. We had a few from Gameloft and they were really good, but take a look at this one, Spider Fusion.
We're not getting there fast. Time for a skill upgrade.
It's an open-world action game where you control a human-spider hybrid swinging between buildings in a huge city called Starfall City, performing acrobatics and fighting villains along the way. There's a strong focus on spectacle, and your character is basically a celebrity in the game, gaining followers through stunts and stylish combat. I really like the story here. Even though it's clearly inspired by Spider-Man, the game still makes it clear that it's its own thing and that an original world and not a copy. Spider Fuser brings a fresh approach, Spider Hero style plus open world plus acrobatics plus flashy combat on Android. If you want something new, there's a lot to explore and discover. If you're a fan of classic beat-em-up games, I'm pretty sure this one is going to surprise you, as that's so sonst, and it's still pretty unknown. Let's talk about Phantom Breaker. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate is the definitive remastered version of the side-scrolling beat-em-up Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds. The gameplay is relatively simple to understand, but this style of game basically doesn't exist on Android. One great thing about it is that it has the heart of a fighting game, meaning the battles have depth, special moves, and distinct characters. It also includes local and online co-op multiplayer, plus online versus modes, up to 6 players in online co-op and up to 8 players in versus matches. I absolutely love beat-em-ups, and every time a new one comes out in this style, especially with an anime vibe, I'm all in. Almost like an offline Diablo Immortal, this game really impresses with its fast combat and surprisingly deep RPG complexity. Let's talk about ONIRO. The setting mixes dark fantasy with Japanese mythology and Eastern Gothic architecture. Ruins, churches, ancient temples, apocalyptic landscapes, and demonic invasions. The combat is fast and hack and slash style. You explore dungeons, fight hordes of enemies and bosses, and collect loot. There's also a class and multi-class system. You can choose from multiple classes, unlock abilities, combine passives, and create fully customized builds. If you love games like Diablo Immortal or Undecember, especially on mobile, ONIRO delivers that same vibe with build freedom plus loot. It's definitely one of the best offline experiences you can find in this style. Easily one of the best pixel art games released this month, and honestly pretty unknown but absolutely worth your time. Let's talk about OCEAHORN Chronos Dungeons. OCEAHORN Chronos Dungeon is a dungeon crawler developed by Cornfox and Brothers Limited and published by FDG Entertainment. It takes place in the OCEAHORN universe, specifically after the events of OCEAHORN 2, Knights of the Lost Realm. You might not know this game, but I highly recommend the first one too. It's really fun. In Chronos Dungeon, the player explores a mysterious dungeon that exists outside time and space, connecting different parts of the series lore. And even though the game is offline, it supports up to 4 players in local co-op, with each person controlling one of the heroes, or you can switch between them if you're playing solo. The OCEAHORN series is truly interesting and manages to excite in every entry, and this latest one keeps that same energy. A 2D game that manages to be exciting even if you're not usually into this style. Let's talk about Mambo Combo Legacy. You play as Mambo, who can unlock powerful forms to reach impossible heights and extreme speeds. There isn't much story. There's a small intro explaining what you need to do, but just like Super Mario, it's really just a backdrop for the gameplay. Each level brings unique challenges, obstacles, enemies, and traps, and the better you chain your combos, the higher your score goes. This is definitely one of the most underrated platformers on Android. I understand that platformers are hard to make successful nowadays, but Super Mambo Quest really deserves more recognition. horror game with a story that really pulls you in, and definitely one of those hidden gems on the Play Store. Let's talk about Mental Haze. Developed by Sebastian Gomez Briceño, Mental Haze is a 2D psychological horror game set entirely inside the mind of the protagonist Walter Miller. The concept is that you enter Walter's psyche where reality is distorted, confusion takes over, and psychological pressure is constant. The art mixes pixel style with smooth animations and realistic light and shadow effects, creating a heavy and oppressive atmosphere. The gameplay itself is simple and a classic point and click, in that you investigate the asylum where your wife is hospitalized while struggling to keep your own sanity in check. For fans of indie psychological horror, this title delivers a unique experience, but not just cheap jump scares, but deep atmosphere and heavy narrative. Another horror game, but definitely nothing like Mental Haze. From the concept to what you actually do in the game, everything is different. Let's talk about KIOSK. It's a simulation game with a horror atmosphere. You work the night shift at a rainy, eerie little kiosk, serving customers who show up with strange behavior and unsettling vibes. You prepare food and drink orders for these late night visitors, chopping ingredients, using the grill, making coffee, pouring soda or beer depending on what they ask for. While you're doing all this, the tension keeps building. Rain, darkness, flickering lights, weird customers, the whole restaurant sim blends perfectly with psychological horror. The best part is how well it combines both sides. You're focused on serving hungry customers, and whenever something terrifying happens, you can't help but wonder what's really going on there. One of the big offline releases of 2025 without a doubt. I'm actually playing this one all the way through. Let's talk about GREAK, Memories of AZUR. You play as a race that resembles elves. I think that's the closest comparison. The basic story: an enemy invasion strikes the archipelagos of AZUR, destroying ancient strongholds. You play as 3 siblings, GREAK, Adara and Raydel, each with unique abilities, and the goal is to reunite them, survive the invasion and rebuild what was lost. You can switch between the 3 characters. Each one has different abilities. GREAK is small and agile, Adara uses magic and ranged attacks, and Raydel is tougher with strong melee combat. The game has several clever puzzles for you to solve, but not only that, there's also combat against orcs, monsters and big bosses as you fight to save your siblings and try to bring hope back to AZUR. The game released under Crunchyroll, and I'm still trying to fully understand how everything works, but one thing is clear: it's really well made. Let's talk about GIF. The story follows an elderly man who wakes up on a luxury cruise ship. He meets several people who seem familiar, but he can't quite remember why. After a few minutes, he realizes the massive ship is actually sinking and he needs to find a way out. There are some very interesting mechanics here. The first one is the ship's tilt and how you use it. Sometimes you can't reach a certain platform or level, but if you wait for the ship to shift to the other side, suddenly you can. Using this strategically helps you find your escape route while solving puzzles and trying to stay alive. It's a simple game with a good story and solid gameplay. What a beautiful pixel art game. I love this style, and if I'm not mistaken, this one is actually rated 18+. Let's talk about DECARNATION. DECARNATION is an adventure game with strong psychological horror elements. The setting is Paris in the year 1990. The protagonist is Gloria, a cabaret dancer whose personal and professional life begins to fall apart, leading her to accept a mysterious offer that pulls her deep into her own subconscious. The game blends a lot of exploration through strange, unfamiliar environments with challenging puzzles and psychological horror moments that take you back into Gloria's past, evoking fear, guilt and emotional tension. The visuals are stunning. The pixel art combined with dreamlike and nightmarish sequences creates a striking and memorable aesthetic. A game where you literally need to learn a new language to stop a war. Let's talk about CHANTS of SENNAR. You explore a gigantic tower in a vertical labyrinth where each floor or cast has its own language, culture and visual style. As you climb higher, you encounter new languages, new symbols and new challenges. The core gameplay revolves around deciphering glyphs, visual symbols that represent words or concepts in the fictional languages. You collect symbols, write notes in your in-game notebook, associate drawings or context with the meanings, run tests, and slowly begin to understand each language. As you put the linguistic pieces together, you start uncovering the motivations behind the war and, of course, how to resolve things peacefully. Unlike many games, the pace here is less frantic action and more thoughtful, reflective, and puzzle-driven. One of the best roguelikes released on Android this year. Seriously, did you see this one when it launched? Let's talk about BLAZBLUE Entropy Effect. Entropy Effect is a 2D side-scrolling action roguelike inspired by the BLAZBLUE fighting series. In the game, you take on the role of an avatar inside a digital world called ACE, guided by a mental training system designed to fight something called the Entropy Effect. Characters from the BLAZBLUE universe appear as playable avatars. Each character, like Ragnar the Blooded, Hibiki Kugetsu, or Kokonoe, has a distinct playstyle, tons of unlockable moves, unique abilities, legacy skills borrowed from other characters, and potential skills that evolve as you progress through each run. It's worth noting that even though it's excellent, it still follows that classic roguelike structure. Not a lot of story, but tons of fast-paced, addictive gameplay. One of the best games in the Arcane Legends series, and this is one of their newest titles, completely different from the previous ones. Let's talk about Arcane Quest Legends 2. Arcane Quest Legends 2 is an offline action RPG / hack and slash. It highlights that you can explore different eras or timelines, like classic fantasy, Wild West, samurai settings, futuristic worlds, all blended into a single hack and slash adventure. Character customization has no fixed classes. The game allows full freedom to create your own playstyle, warrior, mage, hybrid, or anything in between. It feels like a mix of Diablo with a traditional hack and slash, offering both addictive gameplay and plenty of character building options to get excited about. One of the best Metroidvania games on the Play Store, and completely unknown, which honestly drives me crazy. Let's talk about AFTERIMAGE. In the story, you play as Renee, a young amnesiac student from Aros who survives a mysterious attack on her village. She sets out on a journey across a devastated world called Engadine to recover her memories and uncover the secrets behind the cataclysm. Just like many Metroidvania titles, the game gives you full freedom to explore. You can go completely off the main story path and wander wherever you want. The combat is fast and fluid, featuring lots of main weapons, sub-weapons, varied enemies, and many bosses. The game also includes a deep character building RPG system. You collect equipment, weapons, armor, accessories, talent points, unlockable abilities, and different build styles. Extremely complex and interesting, unlike most other Metroidvania games. And that's it for today's list, Embus. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing game recommendations. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.